Hello and welcome from London. This is Mike Cook. I'm at the National Maritime Museum in Greenwich, the home of the Zero Meridian Line, the centre of time itself. So what better place to welcome you and to get you updated with the latest from Esomar in the Esomar update. Thank you.
Welcome to Esomar Update. This week Kim is joined by Ray Pointer, who shares a sneak peek into the second Users and Buyers Manual that will be published next week. Srikar and Claudio share some updates about advocacy and professional standards, and Danica gives us an update on upcoming events and activities. Last but not least, we welcome Kalika to the show. She will be interviewing our member in focus of this week, and who is none other than Susan Fader from the United States.
Esomar News, and this week I am pleased to be joined by Ray, who's going to be telling us a little bit about the upcoming study for users and buyers, which is going to be released. As well, going to be joined by Claudio and by Srikar, who's going to be giving you a few updates with regards to privacy from the Professional Standards and Government Affairs team, and finishing off with Danica from the content team, who's going to be telling you all about the upcoming events that are taking place at Esomar. But first, a huge warm welcome back to Ray, who's been, of course, here on Esomar Update, telling us a little bit about the Users and Buyers survey when it was first released, and I hear that there's a new one coming. So Ray, welcome to the show, and I look forward to hearing from you. What's new in this particular study? What can people look forward to, and where can they find this report?
Hi, Kim. So thanks for inviting me back. And yes, we're very excited with the new report. We have the views of 802 buyers and users of research from right around the world, which means we get a really in-depth view as to what is changing. And we can look at the context of whether the internet and the pandemic and all of these things are having an impact on what buyers are doing. And we saw some patterns last year with the research, and those patterns are even stronger. We're seeing more and more research moving internal. We see people being really challenged by capacity issues, by having to do more with less, still recovering from the implications of COVID. We see a real growth in the way platforms are being used to enable all of this. So I think people will find the report and its implications really quite exciting.
Amazing, Ray. And I understand that next week there's going to be a webinar for people who are interested in finding out more about the results. And you're going to be part of that, I guess. And is there going to be kind of anything special happening during this webinar?
Yeah, so we're going to have a couple of other presentations too, including Sjord Kunstra from showing some material that he's done for MOA, talking about platforms. We're going to have the presentation for myself, about 20 minutes, and then we're going to have a Q&A session, and I think we're going to get a lot of questions from clients and from suppliers about the changes that are happening.
Amazing. Thank you, Ray. So I guess, as you've heard, if you want to know a little bit about what users and buyers of research are up to and what the upcoming trends are, this is really the report to be looking at. And definitely don't miss the webinar being organized by Ray and the others next week. It's going to be a great one, and you're going to be finding out a huge amount of information about what the trends are and how to prepare, anticipate for them. Thanks,
Absolutely.
Ray, for joining us today. And next up, we have Claudio and Srikar from our Government Affairs and Professional Standards team, here to give you an update in terms of all of our advocacy and professional standards activities. Guys, tell us what's happening in your neck of the woods.
Thank you, Kim. Hello, I'm Srikar Govindaraju from the Government Affairs and Professional Standards team. I'm delighted to be joined by my colleague Claudio, and he's here to give you a quick update on all the latest news from the world of privacy. So Claudio, what's the big news that our members should be aware of that's come out in the next few weeks?
Hi everyone, hi Srikar. So June has been the month of data transfer. We assisted to the new and improved SCC, so standard contractual clauses, almost a year after the famous Schrems II decision. But yesterday we also assisted to the two new adequacy decision for data, for the free flow of data from the EU to the UK, and specifically these two adequacy decisions concerning GDPR and the law enforcement directive. In short, this means that the European Union formally recognized as the UK as a country with high data protection standards, and therefore will allow the continued seamless flow of personal data from EU to UK, seamless flow, which does not mean that this flow information will be free of the GDPR regulation that we know within Europe, but will still be subject to the same rules, limitation, and protection in general.
I think one thing to keep in mind with the EU-UK adequacy decision is that they have built in a sunset clause this time, right? So I think within 4 years, it's going to be reviewed. And I think that's the important thing with the world of data protection is things are always changing, things are always in flux. So, we offer the Esomar Plus service to help our members navigate this very quickly changing world. What are some of the services that we can offer to them to help them make sure their business is compliant?
The Esomar Plus services are definitely a very important tool for compliance. We are assisted by our legal affairs committee, which comprises of the senior members of the key agencies, of the elite agencies in the market research and insight world. I wanted to add only one thing on the sunset rule. That is true, it will be revised after 4 years, but this is not a strict deadline. It could be revised anytime. The UK will not be able to provide the same high standard of protection as they are required within the EU. So the situation is definitely fluid, and it's definitely safe to revise and to audit our own compliance requirement.
Absolutely. And if you want to keep...
So in that regard, Esomar Plus is a key tool.
And if any of our members want to keep up to date on the latest privacy news, then do, of course, sign up for our newsletter. So the Government Affairs and Professional Standards newsletter, Esomar Plus newsletter, which looks specifically at the world of data protection and privacy. Claudio has mentioned there a few of the consultations that we participate in. If you are interested in joining in any of these to share your views, then please do get in touch, professionalstandards@esomar.org. And of course, if you have any questions on your data protection and compliance needs, do reach out to Esomar Plus and myself and Claudio. And as he mentioned, our expert team in the Legal Affairs Committee will be very happy to help. So Claudio, thanks for the quick update. And I guess, Kim, it's back to you.
And next up, we have Danica from the Content and Events team here to tell us all about the upcoming events that are taking place, so that you have an opportunity to network and to get insights from and inspiration from the community. Danica, welcome back to the show. It's great to have you again. And tell us all about what's coming up in the next few weeks.
Yeah, thanks, Kim. And hello to everyone from the Content and Events team. I have a couple of updates for the coming weeks. July 7th, we kick off a second online discussion community circle for our Qual community. So we did one in June with the idea of having 3 in total. A third will happen August 10th. But July 7th is really about humanizing digital and how the qualitative research has been up to doing that in, since pandemic times. And the goal really is through these discussions and these community circles to better understand what our Qual community needs from us and how we can kind of develop a really exciting, engaging event in Q4. So if you want to be a part of that, give your 2 cents, share some ideas, please check out that community circle, July 7th. More details on events webpage at esomar.org. We also have the Insights Festival. That's our flagship event happening online, end of September 21st and 22nd. This year's theme is Amplified and Accelerated. We had ridiculous amount of submissions come in from around the world. The committee worked hard to narrow them down, and a detailed program of that will be coming out very shortly, hopefully in the next week or 2. So just keep your eyes peeled for that as well. We're really excited about it. And finally, we have Wonderful Mistakes, a second edition happening July 14th. We kicked one off in May. And after, the success of different sessions we've had at different events, talking about learning from failure and how we should actually celebrate our mistakes because it, makes us better and drives kind of better decision making. We have a second edition. So July 14th, we have Rajul Jain from Johnson & Johnson, John Kieran from System 1 Research, and as well as Sumi Nair from Nailbiter, and hosted again by Finn and council member Vanessa Oshima. So certainly, esomar.org/events. Check it out. Be there and looking forward to, hopefully to seeing you engage in the discussions, the participation, the questions. And that's it from Content and Events for now.
Thanks, Danica. As always, an amazing amount of content coming your way, and I think it's actually quite an inspiring set of content coming up. So I think between the qualities, between those who want to learn from others' failures and everything, I think there's quite a lot of inspiration, all leading up to, I hope, an amazing Insights Festival as well. So,
Absolutely.
Danica, huge thanks for telling us all about this, and hopefully the audience will be going straight to esomar.org/events to register to attend these events. Thank you, Danica.
Thanks a bunch.
Welcome everyone. Welcome to this week's Member Focus interview. I'm Kalika Saxena and I'm happy to be joined today by Susan Father. Hello Susan, thank you for joining us today for an Esomar update. I will start with some questions to know you a little bit better. So could you please introduce yourself, explaining what do you do in the industry?
Okay, sure. Hi, I'm a qualitative researcher. I have my own company. I have done research and feet on the ground in over 30 countries around the world, and that's one of the reasons I'm a member of Esomar and how I first found out about Esomar 20 years ago when I joined. And my passion when it comes to qualitative researcher is rethinking baseline assumptions. Right now, a lot of focus is on executional and analytical, agile research and data collection and all that. But we seem to just take the baseline assumptions as a given and don't rethink them. So my interest on thinking of different ways of doing qualitative research led me to Esomar. And I went many years to when Esomar had the standalone qualitative research conferences. And the way that papers were presented was very different than what I was exposed to at US conferences. And so I continue to be a member. I'm a member of QRCA, which is Qualitative Research Consultants Association. We are the largest group of qualitative researchers in the world, and we have members in 37 countries. And I am the QRCA liaison to Esomar. So I'm very involved with IMRD 2020 and 2021 and other events, so cross-fertilization. And things that I talk about and present on are cognitive demographics, narrative economics, gamification mindset, and things like that. So I'm very excited because I love both the organizations.
Wow, indeed. I mean, you have done a lot till now, and hoping to collaborate more with you in our upcoming events. So thank you. Thank you for your introduction. Great. So what future technology are you excited to see in research world?
So I don't know if it's future technology. What I'm excited about is more integration of technology into qualitative research. About 7 years ago, I started actually integrating AI into what I was doing in qualitative in the pre-work, in like the pre-work homework assignments. Like if we had someone go to a store or something like that, I was using mobile apps and AI to actually have them do the assignment and collect it. So I feel integrating more of technology and embracing technology in qualitative, not as a replacement, but using the best of both is what I really am excited about. And at these conferences I go to, I hear about new technology and platforms and stuff, and I love trying them out and adapting and evolving the ways I do qualitative.
Wow, great. Good to know. And indeed, what you're saying is so true.
Yes. And it's
Great.
not a replacement, it's an enhancement.
Yes, exactly. Great. All right. And what is that one recent insight you would like to share with the world?
That I'm back doing qualitative research in person. I for many years before COVID, I was doing online. So I wasn't a newbie. When COVID hit, I was already comfortable. I had experience with online. But being away from my last in-person qualitative research was a focus group in New York on May 14th, 2020. And the following week I was supposed to be in Chicago. And that obviously didn't happen because the US shut down. But to be back in person and the excitement of people to interact with you in person and the dynamics of in-person is very different. And one of the things I think we all have to keep in mind, online qualitative research is not a replacement for in-person, and in-person is not, they're different animals and
Exactly.
we use them differently. And yes, during COVID, it was a replacement, but now we just have to identify the strengths of each and use the different platforms and the different ways in the in-person that's right for the research that we're doing. So we end up with more tools and more ways of doing things.
Yes, indeed. And since pandemic, everything has changed. The world has more gone digitalized and trying to, explore new areas and new methods of interacting with each other. And online is one of the options, of course,
Right.
to gain insights, to interact with each other. Indeed, that's so true.
Right, but just as you
Great.
can see here, we have the Brady Bunch, Hollywood Squares. We don't have the full body dynamics. I'm actually at a standing desk, and when I'm doing online, I moderate standing up, so at least I can get some movement in there and some, body language and stuff like that.
Yes, yes, indeed. That's one of the great ways to do online, because it's like sitting jobs, and all the day if you're sitting and with like less movements or no movements at all, it's very getting difficult for people to pursue their work. So indeed, that's good to know that you're standing and doing a little bit of movement, and it also gives energy to your body to be more productive and to be more open-minded. I guess. Great. All right, Susan. So, what one food from your country should everyone try?
Okay, so the U.S. is notorious for taking other countries' food and messing them up, like Hawaiian pizza, which has pineapple on the pizza, or things like that, or sushi where they put mayonnaise in the roll. Really not
Yeah.
very appetizing. But something that's really U.S. food is something called barbecue. And
Oh, really?
yeah, it's barbecue. It's brisket, a cut of meat, and there are regional ways of making it. It's generally made by men, and it's outdoors in a barbecue or a smoker, and they can have a rub on it, or they can have a sauce on it, and they can cook it fast, or it could be a slow cooker, like 20 hours. And people go all over to try the different types of barbecue. They're sweet, they're spicy, there's smoked, but barbecue is truly an American dish.
Food. Oh, all right. But why is it like only men do it? And is
It's
it
not that men
something?
do it, women do it, but barbecue is made outside. It's not made in the kitchen. It's not
Ah,
so, and in the American culture, the men like to grill and barbecue. So
yeah.
they do this, they have the secret sauces, and there's competitions all over, and they build smokers, and they do different types of wood to do it. And it's a really, really big thing. And then even though barbecue started in South Carolina, Texas and Kansas City are known for it. And if like you go to Austin, there are gazillion barbecue joints with lines out the door trying, and people go to different locations in the US just to have barbecue.
Oh, wow. I mean, that sounds really interesting. I mean, I've been to US many years ago, but never heard of, I've heard of this, but not in an interesting way that you are telling today.
Yeah.
So,
So there's South Carolina, North Carolina, Texas, Kansas City, and Alabama are
yeah.
considered the different types of barbecue. Of course, other places have it, but they all have a different style and way of doing it. And like in
Okay.
Memphis, they would do ribs, not necessarily brisket.
Okay. Maybe next time if I go to US, I'm surely gonna try this. Great. Yeah, that's sounded really interesting to me. Thank you for sharing. So, thank you, Susan. Thank you for joining us today in this session for Esomar Update. And thank you for your time and all your answers. It was really interesting to interact with you here on this platform today.
Thank you.
You are a proud SMR member.
Yay! I've
Yay!
gotten so much out of it, and the publication, the magazine. It's a lot of food for thought. Just if you want to have an open mind and really expand how you think about research and involve and new ways of thinking, Esomar is just a fabulous organization to belong to.
Thank you so much for the kind words, and we are so proud to have you as our member.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Bye.